Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of First Look, Final Word, the podcast where we take you along to see a new movie with us. My name's Pete.
And I'm Trevor. And this week we're doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, you won't hear any car noises today. We decided to do a First Look, Final Word on a streaming service. We're doing a Netflix movie.
Yeah. Should we call this First Look, Final Word Nights?
After dark.
After dark.
Could do.
Well, we were kind of looking at the movies that were out right now, and it's really everyone's sort of just made space for Dune. I floated doing a Dune follow-up episode, but I don't think either of us are really very interested in that.
Well, I mean, I could definitely probably talk about Dune more, but but I don't know how much people want to hear us drone on about it. No, so this week's episode is well, you've seen the title already. It's not like it's a surprise, but we're doing Spaceman.
All right, and the IMDb summary is: half a year into his solo mission on the edge of the solar system, an astronaut concerned with the state of his life back on Earth is helped by an ancient creature he discovers in the bowels of his ship. Okay.
Which is like, when someone said to me, hey, you've seen the new Adam Sandler movie on Netflix, when you read that, I think I probably could have guessed 1,000 movies and never come close to guessing that was his new movie.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's kind of a straight sci-fi drama. Like Sandler has done a few dramas over the course of his career. I don't think he's done like a sci-fi thing like this. Like,
no, I don't think he has, right?
Click, I guess, would be the closest thing. But that's
Click. That was not really a drama, though, was it?
The last like 30 minutes of it turned into like a pretty serious like.
True enough.
Drama.
Yeah, I remember that choking me up actually.
I actually quite like that one.
Yeah, I think I remember liking that one. I remember being surprised at like you say at the end when it turned pretty deep, and I remember feeling like choked up and like, wow, an Adam Sandler movie made me feel the feels.
Yeah. Well, there's The Wedding Singer too. That was pretty good.
Oh, that's an amazing movie. Yeah. So, how do you want to start? Do you want to get into Adam Sandler? I know we were going to talk about other stuff first, but
yeah, do you want to loop back to Adam Sandler?
Yeah, we'll get back to the Sandman. So we were going to do a bit of a roundup with the Oscars.
Yeah, as we're recording this, the Oscars are a few days away, and then you'll be hearing this about 4 days or so after the Oscars are done. So
we don't know the outcome of the Oscars as of recording date, so that's why we might.
Okay, what an upset! That. Can you believe that?
Oh, I can't believe that they totally snubbed Oppenheimer like that.
Yeah, Maestro won everything across the board. Even like they wrote in Bradley Cooper for Best Director.
Yeah, and he did that song as well. That was amazing. No, so we don't know the Oscar results, but we were going to talk more broadly about favorite movies of 2023, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if you wanted to stick to the Oscar window for 2023 or just in general 2023.
What do you mean, like the?
Well, because like there would be some like from early 2023 that like.
Yeah, I think just keep it
be in the conversation.
Whatever kind of like comes to mind for you for your favorite movies of the last year.
Yeah, I made some notes because my memory is terrible. But I'm sure there's probably stuff that we're both gonna have we'd both have on our lists, right?
I hope so. Yeah.
I mean, like there's the obvious stuff, like there's the Oscar stuff that's pretty obvious, right? Like stuff that we've seen together as well, like Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Was the obvious one, right? They were both pretty up there for 2023 movies, I would say.
Yeah,
which is pretty obvious when you look at the amount of Oscar nominations they got.
And we did do the Barbenheimer thing in July.
We did. And I even wore a pink shirt.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, you and my wife both wore pink, and you made a very handsome couple together.
Yes, and she had the Ken doll that I was able to wave around.
Yeah, and we saw Barbie first and then Oppenheimer, which I defend is the correct way. Is
that not what people say, or like what's the scuttlebutt online that you're supposed to see Oppenheimer first? I feel like that would have been too much.
People at the time were saying because Oppenheimer is going to be such a bummer, you're going to want to lift yourself up.
Like a palate cleanse type thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think we did it the right way, where we saw kind of the fun thing early on in the evening, and then like, okay, let's get serious here.
Yeah, definitely, because Oppenheimer sits with you, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty weighty, and you want to. It's the kind of movie you want to let settle and sit with, and sort of go over in your head on the ride home.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the other way, it's like, drinking some orange juice right after you brush your teeth.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of agree.
And then like 2 weeks before Barbenheimer was Mission Impossible 7, which I feel like just gets completely forgotten now.
It really does. Like I was looking up today, like, what are some good movies that came out last year? And I was like, definitely Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Yeah, they're talking about they're not talking about the part 1 anymore, do they?
Yeah, I think they just dropped it now.
I've heard that they're just quietly not calling it part 1. Is it on? It's on streaming now, right?
It has to be, because
I wonder if it's listed as part 1 on streaming.
I don't know. It would be on Paramount TV Plus.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, like you say, like releasing it when they did kind of really hurt that movie. I know we've gone over it before, but like a really decent movie, really solid Mission Impossible movie.
I'm excited to visit it again.
Yeah.
I was debating, because I have the first 6 in like a box set.
Oh really?
I was debating, like,
oh wow.
Am I just gonna buy them piecemeal at a time?
That's the
now?
problem with box sets, Trevor. You gotta wait till they retire.
Yeah, I should have waited till like Tom Cruise died in a stunt.
Yeah, you gotta wait until Ethan Hunt's dead.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think, like, because I have a list to go through, but I'm trying to think of like some other stuff to highlight. Like I really like this year, like John Wick 4 was one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, that was on my list. That was like.
I don't want to steal it from your list.
No. I feel like we don't have to go for mine and yours. We can just have a conversation. But yeah, like John Wick 4, because I remember thinking, because John Wick 3 I wasn't really crazy about, and I don't know why, because it was fine. It was a fine John Wick movie, but I think I was getting a bit. I thought I was getting a bit John Wicked out. You know what I mean? Like I've had too much John Wick.
By the third one, it was getting repetitive, and then like you were seeing like the multiple layers of this assassin society, and you're like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Is everybody an assassin?
I think that's what it was. It was just a bit much.
But then I don't know what it is about the fourth one, but it kind of just revitalized it. Like you got Donnie Yen in there. Yeah. You have like some amazing fight choreography and that overhead video game shot.
Yeah, there was some really cool stuff they did for sure. Yeah, and like I say, Donnie Yen was amazing in it.
I want to watch the whole series again, but I think John Wick 4 is my favorite.
Oh, really? I've always said that the first was my favorite, but I think that's just because I have the rose-tinted glasses about it being the first, right? The introduction to that world and that character. I
think I might just be saying the fourth is the best because it's the only one I've actually seen in a theater.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember if I saw I definitely didn't see the first one in theater. I feel like number 2, I want to revisit as well. Yeah, I want to revisit them all, to be honest.
Do you remember what happened during our screening of John Wick 4?
No. What happened?
Someone brought a baby. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Because
someone brought a baby to John Wick 4?
About 20 minutes in, this baby starts crying.
Oh, you know what? That does sound familiar, actually. I was ringing a bell.
I was like on the verge of just like losing it, but then like they got their baby to sleep and the baby slept through the whole movie. That's a
ballsy move, bringing a baby to
it was not like a Stars and Strollers thing, and I could not imagine a worse movie to bring a baby to, but I guess the sitter canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people are just like, whatever, deal with it.
Yeah, that's never happened to me before.
No, that is not. Are you even allowed to bring babies into movies?
I feel like I don't know.
I guess they're. Not gonna
Have you brought your baby into a movie? Let us know at firstlookfinalwordpod@gmail.com.
Is the policy of bringing babies to R-rated movies?
But the thing is, like, if you're like a 17-year-old kid working at the movie theater, are you just gonna stop?
Yeah, excuse me, is that baby got an ID?
We both like strolled in with a tea the other day. Like, they're not gonna stop us. Like, are you gonna stop someone with a baby?
Just walk in with a burger or whatever. I don't think they would care. Yeah. Especially this day and age, they're just happy to get people through the door.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if the baby had to buy a ticket. That's the rub. You buy a ticket for the baby, then they won't care.
I wonder if you went on like the Cineplex site, does it say like 2 years and under free? I doubt it.
No, I doubt it. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they make you buy a ticket.
All right, I got a few here on my list. Do you want me to just
you rattle off a few because I've got some that I want to make sure get mentioned.
All right, so I got May, December. Did you end up seeing that one?
I didn't see that, no.
Netflix, it's Todd Haynes, and I kind of hit and miss on him, but this one like kind of really hit me, and it's very funny and
What's
very
it about?
It's kind of like it's about like this grooming relationship, like 20 years on though.
Oh, weird.
Like this married housewife has an affair with like a 15-year-old.
Oh God.
And the movie starts like, 20 years later, he's 35. They have like a 20-year-old daughter and like, a twin 18-year-olds who are graduating high school. And it's kind of like living with the aftermath of that sort of thing.
Ah, interesting.
And yeah, I think it's sort of based off of a true story. And the whole premise is that Natalie Portman is an actor coming into it, and she's trying to get a feel for the character.
Okay.
Because she's going to be making a movie based off of that story.
Oh wow, that's a bit meta.
So it's like it's super heavy
Right.
in like its themes, but it's also like it's hilarious. Like a lot of moments are played for laughs.
Oh really? Oh, interesting.
So yeah, it's on Netflix. So I'd say it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I've got a big long list of stuff that I missed from last year. even just a lot of the Oscar nominated stuff I still haven't seen.
I have about like I keep like a list of all the things I want to watch in 2023. I have like 10 or 15 left. I'm like I gotta just like move on at some point.
Yeah, we're already the Q1 of 2024.
I know. I have like other movie projects I want to move on to do.
That's the problem, mate. It's like unless you spend all of your time watching movies, which would be nice, but life gets in the way.
Yeah.
I got one that I wanted to talk about that I don't know if a lot of people would have seen, but They Clone Tyrone.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, you turned me on to that one,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie. It's like I didn't know what it was when I turned it on. I was like, "What is this about?" It seems like it's just like a urban gangster sort of movie. It's like, is this a comedy? And I guess it is a comedy, but it's also sci-fi. Yeah. But like only halfway through, I was like, I thought it was really interesting what he did with that movie. And
yeah. Jamie Foxx is
amazing in it as well. Yeah.
So if I had an Oscar ballot, I'd probably put him on it.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. No, he was great in that role. It's so funny.
Boyega, right? Who's
Yeah. He was great too.
Yeah, and I was wondering the whole time, like, who is Tyrone?
I know, right? That's what I mean. It's like the name of the movie. Like, when is Tyrone going to show up?
Oh, Pete's house just lost power.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're a wireless setup here. My power just drops out of my house.
So something interesting always happens to us. It's last time it was a guy with a muffler dragging on the road.
Yeah, getting pulled over. Yeah, I remember that.
So I assume you're going to have this one on your list. I have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, well, that was the one. I think, honestly, that might be my number one for last year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I love it that much.
I've
watched it more than any other movies as well.
Well, I just watched it for the second time with my wife who had not seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think it's just incredible. And the entire time I just kept turning over to her. I'm like, this movie's so good, isn't it?
The one thing that we didn't really get into when we did our Oscar sort of preview on the Shining episode, go back and listen to that if you want to hear our real early predictions, was how Spider-Verse got totally snubbed for music, which I think is insane because soundtrack of that movie, the score and stuff, it's just like, it's doing stuff that's just insane and it's like crazy.
Well, yeah, spoiler for one of my other picks. I think the same for Boy and the Heron. It also got snubbed for Best Original Score.
Right, yeah.
Like Joe Hisashi, I think his name is, who does all of Miyazaki's movies, and he's never got an Oscar nom.
Yeah,
it's kind of like overlooking animated scores, I think.
Oh, definitely. They overlook animated stuff for a lot. It's like comedy, and it's one of my big beefs with the Oscars. Yeah. They kind of just disregard movies based off of genre or whatever, and it's like it doesn't negate the fact that the score for this movie is one of the best scores I've ever seen.
Oh, and on that, another animated one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's why I wanted to make sure that got mentioned.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross score on that is absolutely amazing.
It's amazing, that soundtrack.
And the soundtrack is so good. Like, I watched that with my daughter, and now we listen to Can I Kick It all the time.
Right? It's like introducing your kids to sort of like proper hip-hop tunes from back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because we have kids and we get like we get because there's a lot of my list where it's like, yeah, all the animated stuff, but like, I feel like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one that really didn't get as much credit as I thought it deserved. I thought it was like really good.
Well, because I think just like it got overshadowed by Spider-Verse,
Definitely
which
did. Yeah,
like
definitely.
they have similar, like I guess like they're pretty distinct actually, but like similar enough from like an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like
styles.
that new like, oh, it's made a very distinct choice in the animation
Yeah.
style, even though they weren't the same at all. It's like you could lump them together as being like very new animation styles.
Yeah. Did you say that one was getting a sequel?
The Turtles?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would love it if it did like that.
Oh, I would love
I
it.
had a fantastic time watching that.
Yeah, I would see another one of those. But at the same time, I kind of want to just see more animated movies like that. Just like do a different versions of other movies. I would be up for that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But no, yeah, I think Spider-Verse was one of my best for that year.
So I mentioned this one on the pod during the Napoleon episode, but Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, I never got around to seeing that. I remember you saying that it was really good.
Yeah, and I think after all said and done, like Joaquin Phoenix in that is still my favorite performance of the year. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it, except that it's just like, it's like, what if Anxiety was a movie, basically?
Right. Yeah, another one on our list, another one that we saw together that kind of came and went, and then I'd almost forgotten, but The Creator.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think you were a bit higher on it than
Yeah, I don't
was.
think you loved it as much, and I thought it was a little bit too long, maybe, but like I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really well done.
Well, I think he just needs to partner with someone on writing a strong script.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because the story is a little meandering, but it looks so great.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? He's definitely got an eye, but yeah, you're probably right. He just needs a little bit more structure in what he's doing story-wise.
And I'm so in the bag for John David Washington. I think he's great,
Yeah.
even though he's a Nepo baby. I still quite like him a lot.
No, I think he's really good too, actually. Be interesting to see what he's up to next.
And then just rattling a couple of these off. All of Us Strangers. Did you see that one yet?
No, still haven't seen that.
So that's on Disney Plus now, I believe. It's a really great, super sad British film from this year. It's got Andrew Scott in it.
Oh, I did hear about that because there's a lot of people really upset about him being snubbed by like pretty much every award
Yeah,
ceremony.
I said Joaquin Phoenix, my favorite. He might they'd be competing for each other. Like like the fact that he did not get I understand Joaquin
not
Phoenix
even in the
not
conversation, right?
Yeah, like he just got snubbed. Like I do not understand it because it's just like an astounding.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard.
performance.
Like I say, I haven't seen it, but everything I've heard about that movie is that he's just like incredible in it.
Well, the whole cast is great. Like you got Claire Foy,
Oh right, okay.
Jamie Bell, and
Oh yeah, Jamie Bell.
Paul Mescal, like all giving great
yeah.
supporting performances, and like none of them got
No,
nominated.
I don't know. It's one of those things, right? Where it's just like sometimes the Academy the voters just like movies just passing by and they just don't see them.
Well, I think like looking at the Oscars, just even like the Best Picture list, like it's such a strong year,
Yeah, that's true as
and
well.
so I feel like as a voter, you're just like, well, I'm just gonna ignore this movie altogether because it's a little too complicated.
yeah,
Like, could you imagine if Dune 2 came out in November when it was supposed to? Like, how
Yeah.
crowded of a slate this would be?
that's very true actually. Yeah,
Because I feel like Denis Villeneuve has to be like a front runner for Best Director for next year.
I mean you'd expect that, right? Like,
And because he didn't even get nominated for Dune Part 1.
yeah, that's crazy. That, to be honest.
But like, if the movie had come out in November as was originally planned, it got bumped back because of the actors' strike.
Yeah.
Then like no one's beating Nolan this year. Like he's winning Best Director.
Yeah, that's
Like
a shoo-in.
I'd say probably deservedly. Like it's Oppenheimer's not my favorite film of the year, but I think.
Well, they do that thing, right, where it's like you've done enough now to deserve an Oscar.
No, exactly. Well, especially for like Best Director, like usually
yeah.
you want to give it to someone who's kind of on in the middle of their career.
Yeah, like you've done enough good movies now. You can have an Oscar.
Yeah, like Steven Spielberg famously didn't even get nominated for Jaws, which is fucking crazy.
That's insane, right?
Though I think there was a pretty stacked year, but
yeah, but I mean, still, that's a crazy stat.
All right, anything else you want to shout out?
Well, let me have a quick look here. Is there anything that I wanted to talk about? You know what I really liked, and I don't know if you are up on this one, but the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
We saw that together.
Did we see that together as well? I freaking love that movie. I think it's so funny.
I really hope it gets a sequel. I think it was,
me too. I don't know how well it did at the box office, but like I think it just surprised me. At like if it were being a Dungeons and Dragons movie, I was like, there's not really any chance this is going to be that great, but they just like did such a good job on it.
Yeah. Well, as someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons every week, I can tell you like it's like. And
they stuck to like they stuck to the lore and stuff, right? Like they didn't like, a bit.
To be honest, I don't even know the lore all that well, but it approximated the feeling of playing D&D pretty well. Like kind of the way they have to like creatively solve problems and the way that things kind of fall flat in their face and like humorous moments kind of come out of the obstacles is very true to playing D&D.
Right. That's interesting. No, I just thought it was hilarious, and just like it just stacked it with just like charming actors, right? Like how can you not love Chris Pine?
Oh, it's the perfect casting.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, and the idea of making him a bard with no powers whatsoever was actually really great. And then
they kind
Michelle
of flipped
Rodriguez
that, right?
just is like the barbarian.
Just had a tank just like and just destroying everyone. Yeah, I kind of want to go back and watch that again now. I put it on. I had it on the other week actually, and I just showing my wife, said you have to see the scene with Chris Pine and he melts because it's like an illusion when he's playing the guitar. just cracks me up so much with his melting face.
I just love the prison escape scene. Like that just cracks me up.
Really have to wait for Jonathan.
Yeah, I feel like he would really be into our story.
Just the worst plan ever.
Yeah, so I already mentioned Boy and the Heron, which is really top for me.
Yes, definitely.
Everyone knows from our first episode how highly I rate Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, that's a good show as well. Oh, you know what I did? I got around to recently, actually, just on the weekend, watching The Holdovers. Have you seen The Holdovers?
Yeah.
I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Like, just a good little movie, you know? I like movies like that where it's like nothing crazy going on. It's just like, here's just a few characters just like going through some stuff, and we'll go on a little journey with them.
Yeah. Do you feel like that will be a Christmas movie you return to, or
no? I don't know if it really seemed like a Christmas movie to me. Maybe because I watched it like at the end of February. Interestingly enough, though, it didn't come out until like mid-February in the UK.
Oh, really?
So I saw someone talk about it in the UK, and they're like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. This is like a Christmas movie, but it's coming out in February."
It's like Die Hard coming out in July.
Yeah,
right?
Because they don't lean too much into Christmas, really. I mean, it is set at Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, the week between Christmas and New Year and stuff.
The kid is like being held over because
it's
his parents don't want to hang out with him on Christmas.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been the summer, and it wouldn't have made much difference, really.
Yeah. Well, Christmas just heightens things.
Yeah, but no, really enjoyed that one. I wanted to say as well, Wonka. Did you see Wonka?
I did finally see it, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
I liked it.
I didn't know what to think then. You're like, yeah, I did see that. I was like, oh shit, he doesn't like it.
No, we watched it without our daughter.
Oh, really?
We weren't sure how it would be.
No, I mean, it's pretty kid-friendly.
Yeah, so I didn't tell her I watched it, so I she's not listening to this episode.
Oh, you're in trouble, man.
But yeah, plan to revisit that with her. I think it's great. Like the songs aren't quite as memorable as I would like.
No, that's fair.
It's just so charming and
he's so good.
I'm really on the Timothy Chalamet train.
So am I. After Wonka, dude, I'm just like, this kid is amazing.
Honestly, that talk about range.
Right?
Everyone said he was stupid for taking on a project like that. Well, and Paul King,
yeah. You can't go wrong with Paul King, man. It's like when they said he was going to do it, I was like, I had no interest in Wonka until I heard that. I was like, it must be good if it's his.
I am still a little disappointed that we're not going to get like his conclusion to the Paddington trilogy.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if he went back and did one. But I don't know.
I feel like if he didn't do 3, like he clearly just wants to move on.
Yeah, which is fair, I suppose.
Did you ever end up seeing Asteroid City?
No.
You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I have this thing with Wes Anderson where I'm like, I enjoy his movies, but I don't rush to see them. I feel like I need to be in a very specific mindset to get into it, and I'm like, I'll put that on when I'm ready for a Wes Anderson movie.
So is that like you're in a silly mood or something? Or?
I don't know about silly. I don't know what it is. It's just like I have to be in a specific mood. I don't know how to explain it better than that. I just haven't got around to it because I always do that. I always come to his movies late. Like, and there's some that I still haven't seen.
I've been like a little cold on the last couple of his. Like,
right.
I didn't really like The French Dispatch.
Yeah, I think that's the one I haven't still seen.
And I don't know. I feel like I just didn't connect with it, and I felt like that was the one that kind of personified every criticism of Wes Anderson, like
yeah,
of style over
that's
substance
my thing,
stuff.
right? I think it's like if the reviews are a bit middling, I'm like, it's just Wes Anderson. I've seen that before. I don't really need to rush out and see it again.
But like I went for Asteroid City hard.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I
because
really,
the reviews on that
it.
Were pretty middling too. I think
they were pretty middling and like
pretty rave reviews or anything.
It got, I think, like completely shut out at the Oscars, which is.
Right.
Like, even, like, I don't know how you don't give it cinematography. I don't know how you don't give it production. And, like, it's got a great script, too. So, like, even if you don't like his directing style, like, there's a lot to love there.
I'm just checking my list again here. I guess I've got to represent for the Marvel heads. Guardians 3. I loved.
I forgot to even put that on there.
Yeah.
So, like, for... pretty dark year for superhero movies, I would say. That the bright lights.
There hasn't been very many good ones. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
And then we have Deadpool 3,
yes.
which is now called Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I am so hyped for that. You have no idea.
That's like a bright spot. But what else is coming out this year?
This year, I don't. Marvel aren't putting anything out. I don't think.
That's the only Marvel one.
Yeah.
Though I'm pretty geared up for Fantastic Four. Like I know, like I was a little down on not down, but like the Pedro Pascal casting.
Oh really? Like, you went into that?
I'm a big fan of his, but I feel like Marvel's done its best when it hasn't gone for the obvious pick.
That's very true, and
like
I'm a bit concerned about a bit of oversaturation with Pedro Pascal's way. It's like in every big franchise.
But like I've seen like the art that they put out for it, and it's in like that early '60s style.
Yeah,
like,
I think they're gonna go down like the multiversal route and have them sort of.
I think that's a great idea.
Jump from an alternate reality in the past, sort of thing. Because there's no way they're gonna be like, oh yeah, by the way, back in the '60s, the Fantastic Four were around.
Maybe they'll do like the Winter Soldier thing, where they'll have like one movie set fully in the '60s in a different universe before bringing them in, or maybe they'll always keep them separate.
Be interested. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with that. Hopefully they don't screw the pooch on it.
When it seems like it's not going to be like an origin story, like they're already going to be up and running. That's just kind of the impression I've got, because it's an older Reed Richards, right? So we'll see. I think like the art with him and that's getup looks pretty good. So I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong about this. And
Yeah, I'm hoping that one's going to be a good one, and I'm really excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. Though I think that's just going to do some crazy stuff with the Fox universe stuff. I'm really interested to see how that ties into Secret Wars and stuff.
I haven't even been that high on the first 2 Deadpool movies.
Oh really? Not a big fan? I love them. I love him so much. He's born to play that character.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I love him as that character. Right. I just don't know if either of those 2 movies are really great.
Yeah, the second one, I felt a bit that way. I was like, I really enjoy being with this character again, but the story to me was a little bit weaker. But the first one, I loved.
And then like I think the one on my list I haven't mentioned yet. I think might be my favorite of the year is Zone of Interest.
Yeah, I really do want to see that. I still haven't seen it.
It's like you're like a Glazer fan, right? Like we were talking about Sexy Beast the other day.
Oh yeah.
So he's it's only his fourth directorial effort,
Yeah,
so
that's pretty
he hasn't done a
crazy,
lot of
really.
features.
Yeah.
But like between Sexy Beast, Under the Skin, and this, like he's one of my favorite directors. And like if it takes him 10 years to make another movie like it did for this, like that's fine. Movie's quite good. I just watched it for the second time with my wife.
Oh, really?
Well,
I'm always like nervous about watching movies with that kind of content because I'm like, am I just going to be depressed?
That's why I watched it first, because my wife is like sensitive to that sort of thing. And what's really subversive about that movie is it actually doesn't show anything.
No, that's what I heard. It's not like about that, right? It's about how you can live with that going on and kind of ignore it somehow,
pretty much,
right?
yeah. So it's all sort of thing like
context.
it's like it's discussed,
right?
But it's discussed in like a business-like manner. Like it's devoid of all like emotion and humanity to it.
Gotcha.
And it's really like it's something you have to see. Like I think even on the page, like it's nothing special. Like it's all just in how it's directed and what's not shown. And I think I've shouted out this movie already on the podcast, but the sound design is
that's up
really
for
incredible.
That's up for a few Oscars, right? Like, is it up for sound design?
Yeah. So it's up for picture, director, and best international feature too. Like even though it's
definitely winning that one, then, isn't it?
It's a British film, spoken in German. I think filmed in German.
Right.
But I think even like just like regular British films are up for that award now, because it used to be foreign language film.
I can never keep track of what they're doing, because like I never understand if they have a movie that's in two categories, when it's in Best Picture and then another shouldn't it automatically win the other one? It's like when they have an animated movie for Best Picture, it's never going to win. Like, what did they do that with? It was like they put something up for Best Picture, an animated movie, and then it's like, well, that's definitely going to win Best Animated
You would
Feature,
think so.
then, right? Like, doesn't that just negate the whole point?
Well, there was a bit of drama with the like Francis selection for Best International.
Oh, right.
It's like Anatomy of a Fall.
Yes.
Won the Palme d'Or.
Yeah, I've heard that's really good.
It's fantastic.
Oh, have you seen that one?
Yeah, it's a really great courtroom drama.
Right. And that's French, right? French speaking.
Yeah, it's a French film. And so that the one won the Palme d'Or. But then like the selection committee for France didn't select it to be nominated for an Oscar. They selected a different movie called The Taste of Things.
Oh.
And so Anatomy of a Fall ended up getting nominated for Best Picture, but the Oscars didn't pick The Taste of Things for Best International. So even though it's an international film up for Best Picture, it's not up for Best International film. Like, it's so silly.
See, shit like that just makes me hate the Oscars. It's just like it's just so convoluted and up its own ass.
Well, and the fact that like every country has to pick one movie, like, because
the rules are so like stupid, honestly, and like what decides what, and
because like Godzilla -1 is up for Best Visual Effects,
right? Yeah.
But it didn't get selected to go for Best International film for Japan, so they put Perfect Days up there. But like Boy and the Heron 2 would be perfect for that category.
Exactly.
Too, so.
Yeah.
So let countries nominate as many as they fucking want.
Yeah,
like, just pick the best ones.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like these arbitrary rules, I hate it.
I guess like it is nice for like, because countries like France and Japan make great movies all the time.
Yeah, I guess they don't want it too stacked for certain countries, I guess.
But yeah, so it is a shame that deserved movies don't end up getting nominated. Yeah. Is the thing.
Yeah, well, we'll tell you about him.
Yeah. and any other movies you want to shout out from this past year?
No, I think that's probably good. We've been going like over half an hour here.
Oh, I was worried we wouldn't know what to talk about when we're not driving a car.
Yeah, I'm just worried about we're not knowing what time, because normally it's like, oh, we're here now, we better stop recording. Now we're going to be like, oh, we've been talking about Adam Sandler for 3 hours.
Well, so you want to just get into it then? What do you look for in an Adam Sandler picture?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan, or at least I was. Like, I was big Adam Sandler fan. Like in the when he blew up, really, like with his comedies. Like, when I was in the right age range, and I just loved it.
Well, if you asked me when I was 8 years old who's my favorite actor, I would say either Will Smith or Adam Sandler. Like,
The two best actors of our generation. No, but I was like, huge. Like Happy Gilmore, I think was the one that pulled me in.
Yeah, no, that was the first one I saw
because it's just amazing. And then then it was like went back and watched Billy Madison.
Yeah.
And the Wedding Singer was a big one actually in our house. I had a friend of mine who was obsessed with The Wedding Singer. He said it was the best movie ever made. But he also wanted to live in the 80s forever.
It was a great soundtrack in that movie.
It was amazing.
I think Billy Madison is one of my favorite. Like Happy Gilmore, I probably watched like 50 times as a kid.
Easily.
I really love The Waterboy.
I do too. And honestly, I'll tell you what, I think if I went back and watched some of these again, I'd probably be like, oh, what was I thinking? I think like The Waterboy is probably one where I'm like, that is objectively a bad movie. But I'm with you, I love it. Loved it when it came out.
I watched it with my wife's family, like 6 or 7 years ago, and we were loving it. So it wasn't dated as of then.
But I feel like as well, like, it was of a time, right? It's one of those. It was you don't think you get away with it today. Like I don't. It was pretty insensitive in a lot of ways.
I can't even.
A lot of his stuff is probably like that.
I can't even remember what you're referencing now, but probably it's not good.
Even just like when he does his daft voices and like, it's like some of it's a bit on the nose. But
yeah.
But no, I remember I loved all that stuff. Big Daddy, I was a big fan of.
I loved Big Daddy when it came out, and then I saw it a couple years ago.
No, that's what I mean. I can't go. I kind of refuse to go back and watch him because I know I won't like him as much.
Well, we watched it a couple years ago, and it was sort of just like a little lame.
Yeah.
Like, because it goes for that heartfelt thing. And,
right.
Like, because they're at like the courtroom scene, and he's like giving a heartfelt speech about why he should be able to raise the kid, and then I'm just thinking like, you shouldn't be anywhere near this kid.
Well, that's just it, right? I think once you have kids of your own,
you're
like, actually, no. Stop, Adam Sandler.
You have no claim to this child, and you lied.
Yeah, you're a horrible role model.
So, what about his like dramatic performances? Anything catch you?
Well, Punch Drunk Love, obviously.
Punch Drunk Love, yeah.
That like blew me away, and like I still
think that's his best.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. It's like, this is Adam Sandler in this movie. Like, where the hell did this come from? He's not doing a stupid voice and like cracking jokes with his friends. But no, like, yeah, you got it. You can do it. Or just like being very angry. That's his two things. It's like, I'll do a silly voice and then be very angry.
Well, it makes you kind of wish that he would work with Paul Thomas Anderson again.
Right? But that's why I'm kind of looking forward to this new one, because I've heard it's like dramatic Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Even though the concept seems like perfect setup for hijinks and comedy. It's like, oh, I'm doing space talking to a space spider about my wife. It's like, that should be funny, right?
Maybe it started out that way. And I assume you've seen Uncut Gems?
I have not.
Really?
And I'll tell you for why, because I heard it was like
it's
amazing, right? Everyone says it's amazing, but then I've also heard it's like the most stressful movie to watch ever. It's just like anxiety constant. And whenever I'm like, feel like wanting to watch a movie, I'm like, I can't handle that. Like, it's been a long day. I don't want a high anxiety stress for a couple of hours.
It took me like 2 years to finally watch it for the exact same reason. Yeah. I ended up going through all of the Safdie brothers movies.
Oh, really?
And so I'm like,
it's like prep work.
And like, but that's like, did you ever see Good Time with?
No.
So it's like, it's the same thing. I'm like, why am I watching this movie? I'm just so stressed out. Like, in like that's what the vibe they're going for. So like they do a good job, but it stresses me the hell out.
Yeah, and it is one I really do want to see though, because like I say, I've heard nothing but great things about.
Yeah. Well, he's got one, and like we've mentioned some of the ones we love, and that's what makes it so frustrating that sometimes he just seems to phone it in.
Oh yeah, there's a few. There's some that I've refused to watch, to be honest with you. So some that I will never watch, like Jack and Jill. Never watched that. No interest in watching that.
Well, it seems like he is a very loyal friend, and he just likes bringing along his friends to get together. His paychecks.
Yeah, there's some definitely. Like, what's the ones that he does with where they'll go on like on a vacation? What's that one called?
It's like where they went to Africa.
Yeah, and it's like him and Kevin James and Chris Rock or whoever. What the hell is that called? Is it Grown Ups or something?
Well, yeah, they did 2 Grown Ups ones, but I think that was like they went to their hometown or whatever.
Yeah, which was.
But there's one they went to Africa, one where they went to Hawaii.
Yeah, I think they just wanted the studio to pay for their vacation.
Yeah.
That's basically all it was.
He's done 2 murder mystery movies.
I actually quite liked them. I didn't see the second one.
I like both of those.
I've not seen the second one. I start with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. So he's worked with her like 4 times now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But so I wouldn't say that they're good, but they're very watchable.
That's the thing, right? It's like he doesn't make spectacular movies, but he makes movies you can put on and they're a good time.
Yeah.
Like 50 First Dates is a really good movie.
I love that movie.
That's a really great movie.
Yeah.
What else have I not seen though? I tried to watch Hubie Halloween.
I assume that's bad. I never
just
even
because
tried.
my kid loves Halloween so much, and I was like, oh, a new Halloween movie. I like Adam Sandler, and I literally got about 5 minutes in. I was like, I just cannot. It was just
Did
terrible.
your son want to keep watching it?
No, I don't think. I think he would checked out before I did.
Yeah, I'm sure if we went through a list of his filmography, there's probably like 50 movies in there, and like he has this relationship with Netflix now where he cranks out like 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah, they got that good deal with it, right?
So I have a lot of blind spots, but
me too.
I also feel like I kind of got it. Like
I know what you mean.
I feel like I haven't missed anything.
No, there was somewhere. I think Little Nicky was the first one where I was like, oh, okay, I think he's going off the rails a bit here. Although I have a bit of a soft spot for Little Nicky. But
stupidest voice the whole time.
Yeah, it's like, how do you put up with that? Just talking outside his mouth. Yeah, I think that was what it was. It's like, really, we got to do this for the whole movie? But okay.
But that's what makes it so frustrating because we've seen like the heights that he can get to, right?
But even still, like there's movies that I expected to be terrible and then I actually quite liked. Like what was the one where it was Andy Samberg was like his kid? That's My Boy.
I never watched that one.
And I don't know why. I don't know why that one I saw, but everyone was saying it was terrible, and I watched it expecting it to be terrible. I was like, you know what? I actually quite enjoyed this.
So I never watched it just because that's basically the May December plot line, right? Like he gets his teacher pregnant. Yeah. But they play it for laughs.
Yeah, and it is kind of like the beginning bit. You're kind of like, oh, this is kind of stupid, but like I got into it, and you gotta love Andy Samberg.
Well, Andy Samberg is just such a charming guy. Like he really is like his generation's Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, and he just like pulls in his friends. Like there's a whole like he brings in Vanilla Ice, and you're like, oh, that's a funny cameo. And then Vanilla Ice is in it for like 20 minutes. They go on like an adventure with Vanilla Ice, and I'm like, this is insane.
Is Vanilla Ice playing Vanilla Ice?
Yeah. And like playing up on it, right? Like making fun of it.
I haven't thought about like, hey, I wonder what Vanilla Ice is doing right now.
Exactly, and nobody has. He's hanging out with Adam Sandler apparently. No, I might get cooked for that one, but I did quite like That's My Boy. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you agree with Pete or disagree with him, let us know.
If That's My Boy, is it good or not?
All right. Well, what do you say? Like, is the car arriving now?
Yeah, I think we're about rocking up, right, into the basement movie theater.
All right. If you
was there anything else that we didn't really talk much about the new one? I mean, I don't really know what to expect. The guy, isn't it? The guy who did a lot of Chernobyl.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I was reading an article and they said that like Adam Sandler was like, oh, his agent was like, oh, the guy from Chernobyl wants to talk to you, and he was like, I'll talk to him. And then he was like, what do you got? And he was like, I'll send you a script. He was like, oh, it's Spaceman meets a spider and alien in space. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Well, sometimes it's that easy. Like, help being a fan of something, I guess.
Well, it's like the guy said to him, he said, like, this is never going to get funded, but if you want to do it, you could probably do it. He's like, oh, I'll just call Netflix. We're doing this movie.
Netflix loves, but do you know how many views I get Netflix a month?
Right? It's like, they've got this deal, I'll do it, they'll do anything I say.
Well, that's pretty cool. Like, that's the kind of the good thing about having a career like that is you can get stuff made that wouldn't normally get made.
Did you see the one that he put his kids in recently, that he kind of produced, even though he was in it? It was that one about the bar mitzvah. You're so not invited to my bar mitzvah, it's called.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that one.
No, it's like he's put his daughters in it as like the main characters on Netflix.
So he's doing the Will Smith
But it was
thing.
actually all right. It was pretty decent.
Okay.
Because like he played the dad obviously, and his wife was the wickedly talented Adele Hazim. What's her name from Frozen?
Idina Menzel.
Yeah.
Are you doing the John Travolta thing?
Well, I was trying. But yeah, no, she was like the mother. Yeah, I didn't get through the whole thing, but it was on in the background one day. I was like, that's not actually a bad movie. All right, so
yeah. So I'm kind of just expecting this one to just be like, you know, a solid Netflix movie, like that sometimes is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I guess we didn't mention that the voice of the alien spider thing. Do you know who the voice is? It's Paul Dano.
Oh, you know what? I did see his name on there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, got him involved.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I don't know if I can picture him doing the voice of an alien. I guess we'll see how that goes.
I don't really think of him as a voice actor.
No, that's what I mean. And there's like this very specific character you think of, or I do at least. Well, okay, try to find it anyway.
All right, so if you're new to the show, we're gonna watch the movie, and then we're gonna hop back on right after and give you our immediate spoiler-free reactions, and then we'll get into some spoiler talk after that.
Yeah, I guess we can still do P report, right?
The best time to pause it.
Yeah, we can do a pause report now.
A pause report, sure. Oh yeah, it says voiced by Paul Dano right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it looks good actually.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what this one's about, and it's under 2 hours, which you don't get often today.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly, and so give you our opinions.
All right, take care. Bye.
Welcome back, everyone. We've just not left the theater. We've just turned the TV off.
Yeah, I've stayed seated this whole time.
Yeah, Trevor's not had to drive this week.
It's kind of nice. Yeah.
I believe it. So we just watched Spaceman. So we haven't said anything yet. So what's your initial thoughts there, Trevor?
Yeah, I think I give it a pass. Like I think I liked it, but it was a bit slow.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I liked it, but yeah, it's funny because I remember like just before we watched, like the 30 seconds ago when I was talking on the podcast, I was like, it's under 2 hours, it's only an hour and 40 minutes, like it'll be a breeze by. But watching it, I was like, man, this feels longer than Dune 2. Yeah. It's almost twice as long as it.
Well, and I don't know if you noticed, but I've like. There's a couple moments where I started dozing off a tiny little bit. Yeah,
I think this is lost Trevor. I think it's a few sighs coming from over there.
I had to go into the office today too, so that's a
long day.
That's a part of it. So it's been a long day, but I did enjoy it. I think some of the shot compositions were like very creative. Just like. It's very like it's deliberately slow. Like it's not it's not just like it's obviously it's crafted well to be what it's supposed to be, and it's a movie about extreme loneliness. Like,
right. It's to its credit, it's like you've never seen anything like it before. Like it's pretty crazy setup for like. Basically a movie, like you say, it's about loneliness and relationships.
Yeah, well,
and the framing around it is pretty unique.
I would say it's sort of like a therapy movie.
That's exactly what it is. It's a therapy movie about relationship. It's like relationship counseling.
Yeah,
but framed around a sci-fi movie, and your counselor is a giant alien spider. Yeah. Like that's insane.
A guy goes to the edge of space to find out that he's an asshole. He has to change.
Exactly. It's like, maybe you should treat your wife better, says the giant spider.
So I don't know. Like, is there anything else you want to say without kind of spoiling it? Like the spider part is kind of built into the premise of the show.
Yeah, I don't think that's spoiling too much to say that there is a spider alien in it.
So how did you feel about the performances?
I thought Sandler was good. Like he's in his, I think he does like sad very well.
Oh yeah,
he's just like sad, depressed Adam Sandler, which I think is something that's well within his wheelhouse.
Yeah, like he just has this like natural sadness about him, like
which is weird for a comedy actor. But I guess that's kind of been his shtick, though, right? He's always been the downtrodden guy, right?
Yeah, like I guess that's sort of always been there. Like I first noticed it in The Wedding Singer. Like he just has like this melancholy that hangs around him the whole movie.
True, very true.
Like I guess like even before that, like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, like he's just like pathetic, like sad sack. Right?
Basically, yeah, I guess that's true. It's kind of basically been his shtick in a lot of the movies.
Yeah, and his face is a special effect basically because
Exactly.
he's just
it's like it's like droopy dog
moping around.
Woe is me. No, I thought he was good.
Yeah, and like Paul Dano, like
I don't think I would have known it was Paul Dano if like I hadn't seen it in the credits.
Yeah, like I guess it didn't really have to be him.
True.
I won't say that he did a bad job. Like
no, not at all.
It's a very like, like non-emotive role.
Yeah, well, exactly right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then like Carey Mulligan was good as always.
Yeah.
And then those three plus Raj from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that was funny. I turned to Trevor. It's like, is that Raj from The Big Bang Theory? It's like he's stacking it with comedy actors.
And he was pretty good too.
He was fine. Yeah, he did a great job. Like no comedy anywhere in it.
I wonder if like he has to have a mustache or facial hair now to just like get himself away from that role as fast as possible.
Yeah, most likely, right? Yeah, you don't see him pop up in a lot. I was surprised.
Well, he's probably so goddamn rich, he doesn't have to do anything.
He's got that Big Bang money.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to do this Adam Sandler Spider movie.
But then, you just got to make friends with Sandler. Then you can work once or twice a year and get to go on vacation.
That's definitely it, right? You see all your friends. No, yeah.
So
we did do a pee break.
You went this time.
Yeah, right? I had a couple of drinks, so I couldn't hold on.
Yeah, that is the one benefit of doing this.
Yeah.
Like
being able to pause the movie.
Late night edition is that we were able to have some beers.
Have some beers, pause the movie.
So 56:31 was the time that
I thought it was a pretty decent
break.
Pretty decent break for a pee there.
Yeah, almost halfway through too.
Yeah.
Just over halfway, I think.
Well, because I remember thinking, because I wasn't keeping track of time, so I was like, I'm going to pause it here to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm wondering where it's going to be. I feel like we're getting towards the final third here. I was expecting it to be more than halfway through. I think that's sort of telling of how kind of it did feel a bit stretched.
Yeah, it is a little heavy. Like,
there's definitely bits you could have lost. You could have tightened it up in certain spots, I think.
Yeah, no, that's true, and like, I don't know. I'd almost recommend like maybe breaking it up into two viewings. Though I don't necessarily like doing that all the time. It's just it is a bit of a heavy watch.
Yeah, or maybe don't start it at 11 p.m. when you've had a long day.
Yeah, I don't think I actually fell asleep, but I kept catching myself doing it.
You got nodding dog over here.
I don't think I missed anything. But.
No, I guess we could probably get into spoilers from here on in then, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, well, there's no excuse for you to not have seen this movie. Like, it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
so
we know you all have Netflix.
Check it out. Like, I think both of us kind of give a mostly positive review, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'd say it's definitely worth seeing. I mean...
Doesn't cost you anything.
No, just for the originality of the concept itself. I mean, I don't know if you will... I don't know if you need to be married to get more the most out of it, to sort of relate to it as much, but I don't think so. I think it's more about relationships and people as a whole.
Yeah, if you're like a jerk, like you definitely would sympathize with the Adam Sandler character.
All right. So I guess from here on out, there'll be spoilers.
Yeah.
We'll get into some of the finer details of Spaceman.
All right,
you've been warned.
All right, so did this like remind you of anything that you've seen before?
A little bit maybe of like Moon. I thought at the start, especially at the start, just like guy by himself, which I've never really understood why they need to be by themselves. It just seems unnaturally mean.
Well, it's just asking for problems.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have this year-long mission. We'll just send this guy by himself because he'll definitely not lose his mind.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's what I got initially. Funny, I was comparing it in my brain to ISS just because that's the last one I saw that involved like zero-G people on a space station type situation.
I swear, like, they could have just reused the sets from ISS. Like,
pretty much, right?
Really similar.
Yeah, maybe they did.
And like, this was a lot better of a movie than ISS. I would see, like, it's much more competently made.
Yeah, for sure, a lot more original. But no, yeah, they were the two that I kind of.
The one thing that I started thinking of when he's going through like his therapy sessions with the spider is it was reminding me of the pilot episode of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, interesting.
He's like, Benjamin Sisko is talking to the prophets, and then they keep like taking him back to memories of his dead wife and stuff like that.
I didn't make that connection. That's really interesting.
So he's kind of doing therapy with these like
these aliens.
These aliens, right? So I feel like there's a bit of a comparison there.
That's funny. I hadn't made that connection, but now you say it, that's totally true. I feel like it could have been inspired by that.
And then there's the Tarkovsky movie Solaris, where this guy.
Yeah, I never saw Solaris.
It's pretty good. Like it's very deliberate and slow, kind of like this. I feel like if we looked it up, it would show it as an inspiration. But
no doubt.
Yeah, the premise is this guy goes to like deep space, and then he makes contact with these aliens who've taken the form of his dead wife.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And it's sort of about like processing your issues as well.
Oh, geez.
And some of the shots kind of reminded me of stuff from Tarkovsky. So,
oh, yeah.
And it seems like, because you told the story about how that this director, who is like a HBO guy, a TV guy, he kind of just like through his relationship with Sandler got this made,
right?
And so he could kind of just get away with doing a slow and deliberate movie.
Well, exactly. I think even he said like this would never ever get made.
Yeah,
this would never get funded.
Like this is just like it's just not a commercial vehicle at all.
It's like the kind of movie that when you're in film school, you're like, I'm going to make this really deep metaphysical like study into relationships.
But to me, this is why like streaming can be a positive, is because like stuff like this can get made.
Yeah, there's no way a big studio would typically make this and put it out as a theatrical run. Like nobody would have gone to see that at the theater.
So like it'd be tough to like convince your buddies or convince your partner let's go see that sad Adam Sandler space movie.
Adam Sandler space movie.
So let's go pay $40 to go see it in the theater. But like you might sit on your couch and give it a try.
Right, that doesn't mean it's not worth seeing, right?
Yeah,
definitely. I kind of got a little bit of towards the end. I thought it was going to go towards like an Interstellar type vibe. I thought he was going to start doing some time stuff, especially when they were talking about it being the beginning and the end and like experiencing all time at once. I was like, oh, he's going to start pushing books off a shelf or something soon. Yeah.
No, I think there was definitely some Interstellar there and definitely some 2001.
Yeah,
The like everything kind of owes itself to, every space movie owes itself to 2001.
Exactly, so. Yeah, kind of, because I was wondering where it was going to go for the third act. I was kind of like, okay, we've got he's basically in space. Okay, now he's met this alien. Now they're doing therapy. It's all about him and his relationship. I was like, where's this going to actually go? Like, how are they gonna end this? So I don't know how you thought it stuck the landing a bit, but I thought it did an okay job. Like it kind of did what I was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, I
don't know what else you could have done with the ending. It wasn't anything like surprising or super shocking or anything.
Yeah, like having him kind of complete his emotional arc was where the movie was always heading. Yeah. Just for me is like the only thing in my mind was like, is he gonna grow as a person and then die, or grow as a person and then be able to make it back? It was the only thing I didn't know was gonna happen. But I was pretty sure like once I realized like, oh, this is a therapy movie, then like obviously that's kind of where those sort of movies always end up.
Yeah, it kind of would have undone all the good work of the movie if he'd just died or not been able to get back to his wife. It's like, what was it all for? Which could have been a decent another way of looking at it, I suppose. But yeah, I think it would have been a bit unsatisfying. Yeah.
So what do you think of all like the little details of like this is the commercial
Yeah, I thought that was
entity.
actually really interesting. Even like the political landscape of like the Earth of that at that time. It's like I was trying to get my head around. Is this supposed to be like? Is this like an alternate history, or is this supposed to be the future? Because it seemed very like it was obviously very like Soviet era stuff, and he was like supposed to be from the Czech Republic, I guess, and. So I was like, is this like an alt history where like the Soviet Union is taking over the world?
So did they say Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia?
That's a very good question, actually.
Because that would answer part of your question.
I think it
might said Czechoslovakia.
I think they just said, like, 'cause I remember them saying like he's Czech, but that could be either, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it might have just been Czechoslovakia, because I was like, I feel like they purposely never mentioned the United States in the entire movie.
Very interesting,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, is this a history where the United States is no more? Is it the future where the United States is no more? But then why does everything look like old tech?
Yeah. No, and then you have like they are sponsored by like a bunch of products and stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting touch.
And it was a nice touch that like they didn't really like hammer it home too much. Like it's
like a slight little commentary on stuff.
Had a lot of rich details like that.
Yeah, but to your point, like it didn't hit you over the head with it really as much.
It's just like before you decontaminate the space station, you have to like plug it, and then you have to
say the log line for the decontamination company. Yeah, that was pretty funny, and they were like the only real bits of like levity in it, which was like slightly comedic parts.
Yeah, there were a couple like light moments, but it was a pretty heavy movie.
Yeah, there was not many lulls in it for sure, and like some of it you could definitely have got lulls out of. Like when he first sees the spider, he opens the door and he sees it and he's just like, nope, and he just closes the door. Bathroom, I was like, his reaction in that moment was very like muted. He didn't barely react at all. He was just like, nope.
Yeah.
Like, which I feel like he was very calm in that moment. I would have been freaking out if I saw the spider the size of a freaking gorilla.
Yeah. Well, and so do you think that it was all in his head?
Well, that's a good point. I was actually going to ask you, like, because you definitely could read it that way, right? Like that spider was not real, and it was all just his psyche.
But because he had a dream before that a spider was.
Yeah, that the spider was in his crawling under his skin and stuff. But was that just the spider putting stuff in his brain? Well, I don't know. Yeah, because
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, whenever I think about stuff like that in movies, I always think about, well, was there any new information that the spider gave him that he wouldn't have been able to just think up by himself. Which I don't know if there actually was in that movie. Like he was mostly just going into his own memories. Yeah, like and then he said some like psychobabble stuff about time and the end of the universe and the beginning of the universe.
Eaten inside out by maggots.
Yeah, that seemed a bit like. I feel like they glossed over that a little bit because I was like, what's that? What's that mean?
Well, and they established that all the cameras on the space station weren't working, so there was no proof. But the sensors also weren't picking it up. So
True.
But I guess ultimately it doesn't really matter.
No, and like they never showed how he got in and out of the ship. He just sort of disappeared, which kind of is a bit like...
Yeah.
Because that's when I first like, how did this thing get on this ship? Surely it's like sealed. And it definitely just looks like a spider.
Well, and so I was going to ask you, so at the one point, the spider says, you don't interest me anymore, I'm going to leave.
Right, yep.
And then that prompts him to like call his wife and then apologize. Like, was that a therapy technique? Like,
right, then he came back, right?
The therapist firing their patient?
It's funny. It's what it's like, right? It's like, was it all just a strategy to get him to get to the next level? And because that's the thing, right? If it was an actual alien spider, for one, how does that being like that evolve? Like, why does a spider have to look like a spider with a weird human mouth?
Oh man, the mouth was fucking so creepy. Really I thought the character design was actually pretty good.
It really was, and like the sort of weird pincer hands.
Yeah,
that was really creepy too. Like when he's poking at him to wake him up, it was like, so weird.
I would like to eat eggs, please.
What did he call the avian ovum or whatever? It's like so weird. No, yeah, I think it's an interesting read to say that it was just all in his mind, right? Because even the way he reacted to it, it was kind of like he didn't really believe it. he kind of sort of secretly knew. Because otherwise, you would be freaking out a lot more if there was a spider talking to you.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, I actually just read a book like December last year called Children of Time.
Oh yeah.
And it's about like the last humans alive, basically, traveling in space, and then there's a planet where spiders have developed to be the dominant life.
Oh really?
And then there's like a final conflict kind of brewing between the people from Earth who like want to live on that planet and like giant like spiders like basically that size from the movie.
Oh yeah, it's a bit like sounds a bit Starship Troopery.
Well, like the spiders are like they're like they're like sentient, right? So
right.
Each like sort of like Paul Dano. This one.
It's a bunch of Paul Danos running around.
But like one of the themes from that is like distrust of the other.
Right.
And that's something that the spiders in that talk about is like humans will never accept them because like it's like humans are deathly afraid of spiders.
That's just it, right? It's like we are terrifying to you.
So like I wonder if that's why he saw, if it was in his head, which I feel like the movie like wants you to consider that.
Definitely, yeah.
Is it a spider because spiders are the most like normal thing to be scared of?
Right. Yeah. Because there was that scene with back on Earth with his wife with the spider on her hand, which I thought was an interesting sort of little clip. But yeah, no, it's one of those where you can read it the way I suppose.
Well, the important thing is that he got better.
You're right. He did it.
He didn't even like really seem like that big of an asshole, right? Like he was just very like career.
Yeah, they didn't lay it on thick, did they? He wasn't like. That's the thing. It wasn't like there was no like, oh look at him shouting and carrying on. He was just like he just seemed like, what's the word? Apathetic.
Yeah, like,
just like whatever.
Emotionally unavailable.
Yeah, just like exactly.
Right?
Just was always running away, and which I guess was the point of the character, right?
Yeah. Well, like I guess like he wasn't like a bad guy. Like they were just like fundamentally mismatched, right? Like he was very career driven. He always would want to go off to space, and she like was a type of person who like couldn't handle that sort of distance, right?
It was interesting when they kept delving into his childhood and his father and that kind of stuff. I found that kind of interesting.
Well, they didn't really explain like what the politics were.
No, that's what I mean. It's like, well, it had the bit about. It seemed like it was under communist rule, and there was a leader who like stepped down or whatever. That in that one scene, and then he said that his dad was working for the government. It's like for something. He was like.
Yeah, he said my dad did terrible things.
Yeah, and there's like one scene where he was like torturing the one guy, I guess. So it seemed like he was like part of a communist regime or something. But yeah, they didn't really go into specific details on that, which I found quite interesting. Because he definitely had, you could tell he was definitely trying to make a point about something, and definitely had wanted to make a point of how the world was at this point, but they didn't like spoon feed you with it. They give you like a bunch of exposition about it's the year, this is what's happened, and this is, it's just like, which I always prefer, just like leave it up to a bit of interpretation. Right?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of just layers for why he is the way that he is. Like he has certain motivations for wanting to prove himself, and
well, I mean, if you ever go to therapy, that's what it always is. It's always your parents' fault. It's like what happened in your childhood. That's why you're so fucked up. Which is true usually. No. The more I think about it, the whole movie is just about his therapy session. Yeah,
pretty much. Well, that spider was very interested in his like mental well-being.
Yeah, which is another thing. Like, why did the spider care so much? It's like, oh, it was like floating around Earth, and I figured
you're so sad.
Yeah, I wanted to see what was going on with you. It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, it certainly is an interesting premise. Like,
yeah. I found it interesting how. I guess the second superpower on Earth at this point is South Korea. They're right behind. They made a point of saying South Korea too, so I guess they've got a pretty good space program. I don't know. That was an interesting one.
What's more believable than the Czechs having like a
to be the world
I'll have
power?
to check. I don't think we have any Czech fans, but
Yeah. Finally, you're represented, guys.
yeah.
The world power. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I thought I quite liked it. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if I would revisit it. I would love to see my wife's reaction to it. Yeah, I think it would lose her fairly quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think my wife would be interested in like the therapy elements of it.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, because I know that my wife would, because it's one of those movies that gets into things that's interesting. But as soon as it was like Adam Sandler in space, there's a talking spider, she'd be like, "This is bullshit." Which is why I'm like, I think it's such an interesting like conceit of a movie. It's like have these pretty high concept, pretty ridiculous actually concepts.
Yeah.
But it's like built around something very very normal, like very everyday, right? Like people with relationship issues and struggles just in general.
Yeah.
So that's why I found it quite interesting. It's like you get a very normal concept that everyone has to deal with, and you wrap it around this sort of high concept sci-fi nonsense.
Well, that's why sci-fi is the best.
That's what I mean. That's real sci-fi. It's like take a real world issue or something you want to talk about and just wrap it up in some cool space stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got your sci-fi.
It makes it 10 times more interesting.
Right? And you can talk about stuff that is not interesting to talk about necessarily, like politics, global geopolitics and relationship dramas and mental health and stuff.
Well, like I just watched the movie The Prince of Tides, which is like a famous therapy movie, and I much prefer something like this.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like
sci-fi just always makes things interesting.
Can you imagine if, like, instead of it being a giant spider, it was just literally Paul Dano on the ship with it? Like, that would have been boring as hell.
What if it was Paul Dano as the Riddler?
Oh, that would be even worse. No, I would say recommendation for sure.
Yeah, well, what would you rate it out of 6.5?
I'd give it a good, like, 4.5.
Yeah, okay, I probably go 4 myself.
Yeah, around 4.5. It's definitely, like...
Definitely worth checking out.
It's
probably not going to revisit it.
Yeah, definitely recommendation, but not, like, shout it from the rooftops. You have to drop everything and see it.
Yeah. Well, it's number 1 on Netflix right now, so
well, there you go. I mean, there's nothing better on Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, there probably is.
It probably would have made $0 and went to the theater.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, who would be getting out to see that at the theater?
You and me.
I don't know how you'd market it. It's
Yeah,
Adam Sandler.
It would be tough to market this one for sure.
Like, they would have had to cast like Kevin James as a spider. That I would see.
I don't know if Kevin James is the box office draw.
Well, if you're an Adam Sandler fan, you're like, who's Kevin James? What was that in? Oh, did you ever see, going off topic, Adam Sandler's cameo in Brooklyn Nine-Nine? He was randomly in an episode.
Because I watched the whole series.
Yeah, he was randomly in an episode. I don't know why it happened, but they're at like an auction. And he's bidding on something. Oh, and he's like, "What are you bidding on? What are you doing here, Adam Sandler?" He's like, "I'm researching a movie. It's a serious movie about art." And he's like, "Oh yeah, who's Kevin James playing?" And he's like, "A serious movie about history or something." He's like, "Who's Kevin?" He goes, "Ha ha." And he's like, "Trotsky."
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah. Oh yeah, he's like, he's making a movie about the Russian Revolution.
Yeah, it's like it's really serious.
Wasn't he like they're bidding on like a Fabergé egg?
Yeah, that's like right. Yeah, something like that. Man, that's a good show. Anyway,
I love that show.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Getting back to Adam Sandberg. There you go, right? He's probably from that, right? They're probably friends from That's My Boy.
Oh, there you go.
Crowbar him into my
all
show.
Those like SNL alumnus always hang out together.
Yeah, it's a bit incestuous, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But when's the last time that Adam Sandler had a theatrical, like
a hit
movie? Well, I guess Uncut Gems was a theatrical, right?
Was
it A24? Like I guess it wasn't
I don't really
release.
remember it even being big release. Was that a Netflix movie too?
No, I think it was like
funded it,
right? Maybe like in 500 theaters.
Yeah, like a small release sort of thing.
And then kind of got big on.
That's a good question though. Was the last time you had a big theatrical hit? It was probably one of his like family. Didn't he get into like family stuff at one point?
Well, I guess we're discounting Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, yes. Which my kids love.
I've been trying to get my daughter to watch them
they're pretty good.
Because I haven't seen them, and I don't want to just sit down and watch Hotel Transylvania by myself.
Because he produced them as well, eh? Like, I think it's, I don't know if it's Happy Madison Productions who do it, but I know he was definitely a producer on it, because you could tell, because I think it was the third movie, he didn't come back to voice Dracula. They just pulled someone in to do an Adam Sandler impression.
Oh, it's got to be so easy to do.
Yeah, oh yeah, you wouldn't even tell, I don't think. But it's like, hey, that's not Adam Sandler doing that voice anymore.
Like replacing Rick and Morty would be fairly difficult. Replacing Adam Sandler doing Dracula.
Yeah, can you do a comedy Dracula accent? Yeah, you're good. No, Adam Sandler, good movie, well done.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like when you look at his recent slate of Netflix movies, I think that this is one of the better ones.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We can all agree that Spaceman better than Hubie Halloween. I'm putting myself out there saying that.
Okay, wow. Oh yeah, you're gonna get people just pounding on the doors.
I said it. I believe it. Don't come at me.
Yeah. Well, this is why you pay us for this high content,
right?
Quality content.
Exactly. You're not gonna get these opinions anywhere else, guys.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anything else before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's much more we can say about Spaceman. I was disappointed they didn't have the Babylon Zoo song in there. You remember that song?
No.
Spaceman. I always wanted this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You don't remember that movie? Man, it was real popular in England. There was a TV commercial that had that song. It was very popular. Babylon Zoo.
I was thinking the whole did you watch 30 Rock?
I didn't. I watched a little bit of it, but I've not been able to get into it.
There was a doctor in that. His name was spelled out Dr. Spaceman, but he pronounced it Spaceman. So I was thinking that the whole time.
The Spaceman.
It's Chris Parnell who plays him.
Oh, really? Interesting. No, I have never gotten around to getting into 30 Rock. I don't know why not. I was one of those where everyone said it was great, so I tried to watch it, and I watched 2 or 3 episodes, and I was like, I'm not feeling it.
Well, the first season stinks.
Yeah, that's it, right? You gotta get through that.
You gotta get through the first season.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just start in season 3 and
just do it. Yeah.
Just whatever. That's what I do with Parks and Rec.
Well, Parks and Rec, I still like the first season.
Really? Yeah, it's like its own. It's like a different show.
Yeah, it's
like
a very
its own
different
thing.
show. Yeah, I love that whole show though.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's nothing like the rest of the show.
It's such a great era. We're on such a tangent now, but that's such a great era of television, because you have that and Community.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
30 Rock all on the same network at the same time, basically.
Yeah, they were all real good shows. Yeah, I feel like you don't really get that anymore. Maybe we just aged out of that comedy stuff now.
Yeah, I don't know if they really make sitcom comedies. Well, if they do, I'm not watching it.
Well, yeah, Big Bang was the big one, wasn't it? And yeah, I don't know what it is now. I feel like they've all ended now. What's the big sitcom that's on TV right now?
I feel like all the sitcoms you hear about at the Emmys are just dramas in disguise.
Right, yeah. That's very true.
Because didn't they I don't watch The Bear, but didn't The Bear get
yeah, I don't know.
Pegged as a comedy?
Is that even a comedy? I feel like it just got put in that.
I don't think it's a comedy, but I think it's a half-hour format.
Right, it just got put in that category. I think
because I think it probably has some comedic moments in it, but it doesn't look like a comedy.
That's another one I've never watched.
I'll have to give it a try. Everyone says it's
great. It's supposed to be so good. But yeah, from what I hear, it's not funny. It's more stressful. Yeah. Going back to our Uncut Gems conversation. It's I don't know if I just want to be stressed about kitchen stuff for half an hour.
It's stressful enough making my own meals.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so are we calling it there for today?
Yeah, well, let us know if every now and then you're into the idea of us doing these kind of streaming service episodes when the theaters aren't really playing anything too interesting right now that we haven't already covered. Yeah,
but love to hear your feedback on that, because I guess our layouts didn't really change. We're still doing the same thing. It's just it seems more different to Trevor and I, probably because we're not actually driving in a car, but you guys are probably just it sounds the same. It's just you guys talking nonsense. No, yeah, I'd love to hear feedback on this one. And we didn't really do a question this week. I don't know if we're going to throw one out, but
what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
What's your favorite 2023 movie?
There you go. Yeah, you could throw that in there as well. Yeah, let us know. Yeah.
How'd you like the Oscars? Can you believe that happened?
Oh, I can't believe that happened.
Another slap.
Oh, the Oscars, what fun. Yeah, I guess by the time it's our next episode, the Oscars will be long done.
Yeah. You going to put down money on anything?
No. I'm not even convinced I'm going to watch it, to be honest.
Well, I'm going to be on a cruise ship at the time, and I'm going to
fancy.
Try to convince one of the staff members to put it on a TV.
I'm sure you'll put it on. What else is going on Sunday nights?
I think the issue would just be like whether they can actually like find it.
Oh, yeah, true enough. Broadcasting rights and all that.
Yeah.
International waters, there's no laws.
That's true. Yeah.
Just get gambling and watching dodgy streams of the Oscars, you'll be fine.
Actually, like, this is it's a total tangent as we're trying to close the episode. But for the World Cup back in, this would have been in 2018.
Right.
I was at a resort in Mexico with my family. My dad and I were watching the England versus, I can't remember who they were playing. I think it was the quarterfinal game.
It'd have been like Italy or someone who beat them. I'm putting me on the spot now.
But anyway, so the stream that the resort was like, it's like the paid stream that the resort was playing wasn't working. So this one British guy just got up and he went on the computer and he just went to a pirate website and he entered his credentials and then he just like started streaming like a pirated version of it. And it worked perfectly, and like there was like 400 people in this auditorium.
Really?
Like, everyone erupted in applause for this guy. Like it must have just like been the highlight of his life.
That's amazing.
But he just went up there and put it on a pirated stream. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, why not, right? I mean, if you're going to do it, Mexico's probably not the worst place.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to come after you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, there you go.
that was so random. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. You're getting to know us really well here.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't think we have a plan at this point for the our next step, but keep glued to the socials and we'll give you a heads up on what the next movie is going to be.
Well, Civil War is coming out in April at some point. I'm excited about that, but not sure what's going on.
It's going to be an interesting
later this
one.
month.
No, I don't really know.
All right.
We'll figure something out. Maybe we'll do another home show.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, everybody.
Yeah. And until next time, that's the final word.
Bye.